Hey everybody, it's Cam. Welcome back to the channel. Here with another video today on March 24th. This video is going to be about AMC and Gamestop. So first, let's start with AMC. So closed at 902, down 15% today. So third day in a row with three big red days. We'll start here pre-market. So pre-market gapped a little bit lower than we were after market. Found some support about 4 a.m. Buyers came in, pushed this thing up, tried to retest the $11 area. That we held for a good part of yesterday, right to the midday, held it, broke below it, gonna retest it, right? You break a area of support, it becomes a resistance, going the other direction, get a pop up all the way up to 11.2 right off the open, and then seller smacked this thing, right? So smacked us all the way down 11.2 down to $10 within the first hour. Get a little last dip buy hope, right? Buyers come in, push this thing, but we can't get over the 522 all day. And then, kind of quiet here midday, but when the market started rolling over, especially accelerating down after 11 o'clock, this thing took off lower pretty quickly. And then we got all the way down to 875 after hours, pop back up, sitting at 923 right now. So, go out to an hourly chart. As you can see, right, so the last 2 days, talked about my video yesterday. Basically, the 9 had been acting as overhead resistance. Broke through that first thing at pre-market. So what's the next target area? The 22. So we go try the 22, get above it right at the open, and then sell off it. So we sold off it. Buyers came in. We talked about 720, push us back up. The 9 once again acts as overhead resistance, sends this thing lower. So where do we go from here? So if we zoom out all the way to the daily, and we can look at volume. So we do have a good volume base here in the 9 and the 8, and quite a bit of consolidation here in the 8s, right? So prior to its move, 2 weeks ago, right, we bounced around the $8 area for almost 2 weeks. So could find a lot of buying support right here. So if the market keeps going lower, we're gonna look for buyers to come in and hold this thing right now. But we'll look at GameStop, and GameStop, it sold down through its volume level, so it might have, if it tries to rise back up, which is pushing back up in the 120s right now, but to get to that 130 is going to have, a need for a lot of buyers to come in because the volume overhead is going to act as resistance. But for right now, we'll look to see if the high 8s, 8.9, acts as area support with all that volume. So that 8.9 level, right, is the 78.6 fib from the prior 3-year, 35 high down to this 191 low. And then the yellows here from the intraday high down to the 526 swing low. And then the blue is from that 191 up to the aftermarket. Actually, I think, it was pre-market high on the 25th. But you can see, right, so we have 5 red candles in a row, but these two were actually green days, just from the prior day close. But so actually just this one was, but so with 4 red days in a row, down 10%, down 15%, down 50%. So when the buyer's going to come in. So still, I'm thinking we're this 8.9 level, we got this 8.49, so 8.5, right where the 50-day EMA is sitting at. So I think buyers are going to come in here in the 8s to hold this thing up. But that is all dependent on market weakness as well, right? So video I just put out for NFTs and stock market indices. I think the stock market continues to sell off this week. If things get really bad, we could retest January's lows. But there's just a lot of uncertainty in the air right now, a lot of risk being involved with bonds, Suez Canal, oil, you name it. There's a lot of stuff going on. So we could see a lot of hedging going on. And with a lot of hedging, that could cause a, it's kind of binary, right? So you could have money pulled out of AMC and GameStop as people become more conservative and want to go to, say, value names. But there, you could have the other hand where more people are like, hey, I want the quick money, let's get quick gains, let's push this thing back up, right? It's pulled back, can't go any lower, let's send this thing to the moon. Stimulus money, money on the sidelines, all that comes pouring back into AMC, GameStop, and we take off again, right? And this $8 area could act as a springboard for those buyers to start adding in positions for this thing to go back up. So we'll have to look at pre-market action, right? So we still got 2.5 hours here for aftermarket AMC GameStop move in the aftermarket hours. So we could see some more, curling back up here, on the low volume. But I think more, let's see how tomorrow gaps, whether up or down for the indices, and see how AMC and GameStop move first before I will take a position. GameStop, so somewhat similar chart. They had their earnings yesterday, right? Some corporate restructuring with executives, but still sold off. Trying to hold this 150s, pre-market, similar to AMC. Gets a pop right at the open, then sells off. Found a little bit more midday strength than AMC, but again, 9:30 came in when the market started selling off. GameStop started selling off, followed the market down lower, pushed all the way down to 112. 83 after hours, pushing back up right now to the 120s. I mentioned in my video yesterday on GameStop, I thought the 130s, the 140 to 130s would hold because there was volume there. So we'll see that here on the daily in a second, but let's just go to the hourly first. So like AMC, right? So once we've sold off the 9 yesterday, in power hour, that 9 once again act as resistance, right? You get this huge candle, right? That was just the immediate reaction off earnings. But after that, we respect it. Again, a wick on the open, on the pop. Sold away from it, get to the bottom of the active trading range on the Keltner channel, pushes back up to the 9, get through it originally, but we can't get through that 38.2 fib, and we sold off it. So the 9 is still acting as resistance, just like AMC, and then sends us all the way down almost to this 23.6, well, 23.6 in blue and green, down in the 115, 110 area. So if we go out to the daily now, we can see potentially what I was talking about on volume. So if we look at the volume here, right, we did have quite a bit of volume basing in the 130s, 140s. So right, we put in a ton of volume today in the 120s, so that's why it's still exaggerated in here, mainly these two. But the lower 115 area did have a lot of volume from these days, right? So we had basically 4 days where this 23.6 fib at 115, was acting as support and resistance, right? Price just hovered around it for almost 4 days, so you get a lot of volume aggregating in that area, right? Especially on the volume there. The volume during those days was a lot higher than currently, right? So those 4-day average 150, 92, 50, 33, and then yesterday and today 14 to 23 million, so quite a bit of difference in terms of volume. But also on the volume today, quite a bit, almost entirely red the last 2 days. So we'll look to see if this 115, 111 area with the high volume acts as support. If that fails, right, we might even push this lower. Well, first, triple digits down to the hundreds, but maybe all the way down here into 86, where we do have, some highs and lows previously in the beginning of February. But we'll look first for this 115, 110 area hold, and whether we can get some traction. Like I said with the AMC before talking about GameStop, just gonna have to look to see of how money's gonna rotate here with the indices falling. See if the stimmies are gonna come pouring back in. If Reddit gets traction. Once again, if the mainstream media wants to pump it, if Jim Cramer wants to talk about it, Elon Musk tweet, Roaring Kitty, whatever, if they can get some eyes on this thing, maybe the buyers will come in. I know this 115, 111 area, just like AMC, we're in a good spot where there's a lot of consolidation, a lot of price aggregation, where people could, form, they're starting to form their positions to start buying for this thing to go back higher, right, in this volume springboard. So that's what I got for you guys in this video on AMC and GameStop. Let me know where you think these Wall Street Bets plays are going, not only tomorrow, into the week, into this month, but for the future. So let me know in the comments what you guys think, and we'll get back to you in the next